I think you do too. I work as a therapist, and I think that seeing just really, it's just ordinary relationships, as you're saying, Navi, because when you see you're empty and spacious and full of the world, you treat the other person in the same way as you, and you see them as empty and spacious. And the emptiness and spacious is not two, it's one, isn't it? But in a funny kind of way, you now hearing and seeing that spaciousness that they're speaking out of. And I think there's a danger we can pathologize other people, you see, and that basically is you make them into a solid thing that won't change and is wrong. Yeah. And yes, and when you see you're not a thing, you unthing them, and and depathologize them, and you see that they're absolutely fine where they are, absolutely one. Their world might be a bit messed up, like yours, like mine, you know, but you're not, and then you can sort of kind of look out from that emptiness with them, and from our own experience, we know it's fluid, it's not stuck, you know. But they may just need you to hang out with them a bit, you know, instead of kind of panicking, you know. But yes, it's just...
So basically your ethos as a therapist is more or less the same as the motto on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Which is?
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
It's all fluid. We're all going towards death.
Life is a sexually transmitted terminal condition.
But it really does change the way you are with people, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It really does. And because you actually, that whole thing in that talk that Douglas gave in Melbourne, he says you're busted wide open for people.
Yeah.
And that for me was completely obvious straight away when I saw headlessness. But the next thing I saw after that was like, no one can tell.
No one can tell.
It's actually a very private space as well. And so for
it's
me,
great fun, isn't it?
Yeah, when I first got into it, it's like no one can tell that I'm feeling very headless right now.
Yes.
And they're just reacting to me normally, how they always have.
Yes.
And it's actually a much easier way for me to interact with people, because before I always felt I had to have defences, and now it's just like, just seeing that you're open for people is a really loving way to be.
Yes.
And I really enjoy catching the train and just seeing different people every day.
Yes.
Sometimes I walk through a crowd and I think, that's probably the only time I'll ever see that person in my whole life, and I'm seeing them and they're like this, you know, they might be walking by crying, or they might be, and sometimes a young person walking by and they say, gee, looking good, yeah, hope you have a good life kind of thing. I often think that when I'm walking past people now. It's like, good to see you. I'll probably never see you again.
You know, I find
and just
myself...
seeing people enjoying life.
Exactly. I find it may be a character thing, but I think it's a personality thing, but I think it's to do with seeing too. That you meet people along the way that you only meet once.
Yeah.
And I find myself dropping into conversations with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm never going to meet them again.
Yeah.
Because it's like
England he's talking about.
Oh wow! My daughter keeps saying, Mum, you know, you're getting old when you talk to the old ladies in the shopping queue.
No, not necessarily.
It's just I know.
because they're all the faces of the one.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, they are all faces of the one. You're talking to yourself. There isn't another, really. I mean, there is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everyone you meet is yourself. You know. It's,
We're out there, all of us are out there doing this huge experiment of being a human being, and we don't know, we just got here, and we don't know how long we're here for, and we're just
We're making it up as we
making
go
it up
along.
as we go along, and it's just wonderful, actually. It's really fabulous, and often most people I meet are thinking, yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
Sometimes people aren't. You'll see someone suffering and you think, well, yeah, I remember a time in life when I was like that, and you can kind of be capacity for that. And sometimes I feel like I'm being capacity for my past self as well. I'll see, oh, I remember feeling like that, and you're just really like capacity for them. Yeah.
I felt like that yesterday. I met this young girl. I don't know how old she was, but she was young. And I fell completely in love with her in a few moments. And it was so deep, our connection. And then later when I was thinking about it, I thought, yeah, she was her, but she was me, and I was having capacity for my level of innocence at her age.
Yes.
Like her innocence was just touching me.
Yeah.
There wasn't such a, yeah. The past comes in at the same
It's
time.
amazing. So it's for me these days. It's often like the past and the future. I sometimes see an old person, and I think that's probably how I'm going to look when I'm old. And some sort of capacity for my future and capacity for my past and capacity for everyone around me. And it's just like an amazing adventure. It's really incredible being alive, actually.
And consciously sharing, like we are doing, the common ground. That we're mysteries to one another, and yet we're not. There's one indivisible consciousness here. Everything else is complicated and mysterious, isn't it? Which is exactly the way I want
The
it.
essential thing, which is in plain view.
Fantastic, fantastic. This. I mean, this is such a simple thing, isn't it? The pointing, non-verbal, but I mean, it's so direct and pointing at nothing. Incredible.
Yeah, my granddaughter said to me, Grandma, you be me and I'll be you. And she's only 2.5. She just blows me away with the things that she says.
They love to play that. They haven't fixed yet. And they don't.
Yeah.
They just love.
And it's great because you're aware of what that is. You don't kind of dismiss it as nonsense. You know where she's coming from. You know she's got to separate, but you don't land like a ton of bricks on her.
I'm just amazed that she sort of has that perception or that idea at a 2.5-year-old.
Yes.
I can't help thinking that if more adults in child raising positions were seers, that the childhood transition, into playing the face game would be a lot less traumatic. It would still have to happen, but it'd be a lot less traumatic, and because of that, easier to get out of in a way when the time came.
Yes. Yeah.
A more natural and less problematic kind of thing.
But I mean, it's very, very promising what's happening in the world, isn't it? I mean, the fact that we're all hanging out today and all are aware of who we really are, and it's just natural, isn't it? And we're all equal in that sense. We're all equal. We're all looking out of this one eye, and we've got different reactions, and we're exploring it in different ways. But I mean, it's natural, it's equal, it makes sense, it's sane. Now we're just ordinary people. Fantastic. It's very hopeful. I mean, there's no reason why it won't just spread and spread in a way. Just because it's, as we're finding out, it's so practical and fun and true. It's wild, isn't it? I mean, I think because we've gone away from it so profoundly, that to rediscover it, I think I become wilder, in a private kind of way. The more I go on, I can see my hand actually does disappear here. Have you noticed that there's nothing here at all? They're absolutely gone. It's brilliant, isn't it?
And it could just be little things like you say you're in a car, you're driving on the passenger, and after a while it's just like it's all coming to me. Just everything's coming and coming like that. No one knows you're doing that. It's just like, wow, man, it's really incredible. Or if like
You can tell us here. She's just sitting in the back of the car going.
We catch the train from Midland, and most days on the way home there's an absolutely enormous train from Fremantle go through. It's got about
one of those big
50
standing
carriages
gauge ore
carrying
trains,
stuff
you know, 2
over
kilometres
east.
long.
Oh, okay.
And so if you want to have fun, you can stand so it's coming out of you while you're waiting for it to say, whoa, look at that. Or you can stand so it's going into you. I mean, everyone else standing there at the ding 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 gate doesn't know what you're doing. You're just standing around looking bored. Everyone else is just...
And you can't even be arrested for that.
Yeah, and just privately you're going,
I just ate
this
an ore
is pretty
train.
cool.
They saw me.
Well, when you're kind of, in a shop and you just be the person who's serving you at the till,
Yeah.
and just, I mean, that's why I think why we probably find ourselves talking to strangers, because, you're just built open and it's so interesting, isn't it? And
When you are built open, it really is
Yeah.
a different,
yeah,
it's a whole different world.
It's
really
lovely too. I
good.
mean, you do have these random, wonderful connections with people. A young, intellectually disabled guy sat down next to me on the train, and for some reason he wasn't trying to talk to me or anything. I just turned and made a remark about something. He was, I don't forget why I even started
he
it.
nearly got squashed in the door, so he got on the train at the last minute. Didn't
And
or
he
something?
thumped
Yeah.
in next to me, and then I just turned and said something to him, and he began to open up about how he got this new job and how it was much better. And I said, "What's better about it?" He said, "Oh, they don't bully me there." And I said, "Did you get bullied at that other place?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, they must have been arseholes to bully someone like you." It just came out because I could just see this fine young guy. I thought, why? And you could tell that. I mean, he just got off the train, but that was a really high quality interaction that just came and went, just bang, 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 out of nowhere.
That is another thing seeing. Carly said to me at a dinner function, for the radio show I do a show for, Jessie, do you realize you're actually friendly with people? She said, I've never seen you friendly at a social event. She said, you even talk to people you didn't know, and you even kiss the top of some old woman's head. She goes, what's happening? You're getting friendly. And I hadn't even noticed it, us getting friendly. And it's kind of what you guys are talking about. But she's like shocked. Like,
and did you explain it was because you didn't have a head? Oh, it's because I've just noticed I end here.
It's curious that before headlessness, I was acutely aware of the progress I was making, to becoming, I don't know, a better person or something. But since becoming headless, I've dropped the project completely, and yet my interactions with people are improving. I'm getting to be less of an arsehole. It's wonderful.
Well, that's great news.
About time.
But just going back to Navi's comment earlier about how looking through, from the no head, and if someone's having a bad day and they really are an arsehole in front of you, and you just say, oh, you're probably having a bad day today, rather than labelling. There's that great saying, once you label me, you negate me.
Yeah.
And I find, I'm a therapist also, and I found I could never really go there with that labelling of, well, he's in our training.
Yeah.
Because always there's this room for when you can get them into that oneness space, they evolve into somebody else, something else, more of themselves. And so the magic of what we see unfolding just by being at one with all things. Like you say, if we get more people, their children there, as they evolve through their transitions, it would be awesome.
well, I think there is a level of moral development that we're rediscovering in some new way that we're not used to
Well, it's from
finding.
first principles, isn't it? We're actually rediscovering it from the source by trying to act from here, or trying to be the embodiment of this. There is a moral dimension to that, and that is that you are everyone. So how are you going to treat yourself? That's basically it. Yeah.
As
I mean-
opposed to following rules that have come from the outside.
Yeah. I mean, I forget who said this. You might know the reference, but somebody asked an English Christian mystic, how do I behave in the world, and expecting to get a list of rules, and he said, Imagine the world as your beloved wife and then act as you will.
Mm.